Hello and welcome to this video. Today I'm going to do something that I saw floating around the internet. It's called the blush tag, similar to, there's a fruit fly of course, similar to the palette tag. I saw this that a couple people were doing. I will put their names here because I don't know how to say some of it. But there are 12 questions, 14 I think. I just did a really quick count. But I'm going to start right away because I don't want to ramble. I know sometimes I do ramble. But there are questions really similar to the blush tag. The palette tag. So I'm just going to go through them, give my answers if I can to the questions. Some of them I have duplicates for, but I have a reason for it. And some of them I have more than one answer. So we're going to start with the first question, my newest blush. So I haven't bought makeup in a while, especially blush, because I found I had my go-tos. But my newest blushes, I'm going to say, are the Fenty blushes. I know this came out in the summertime, and it's kind of like old news, but I mean, these are my newest blushes. I have Petal Poppin', I have Drama Class, and I have Rose Latte, whatever, however you say that. I love these blushes. I use Petal Poppin' the most, which is surprising because I didn't think I would use this one the most. The next one I use is the Rose Latte. And then the other one that I have that's fun is this purple color, which is really pretty. So those are my newest blushes. And opposite of newest are oldest. Now for this I wasn't sure. I had to actually do some research online to find out when a couple of these things came out. And I'm not going to say how old they are because I'm quite embarrassed to say that I'm still using them to this day. But hey, if they still perform, if they don't smell, it's a powder product. I keep my brushes clean. I feel like that helps the longevity, maybe. Maybe I'm just like making this all up in my head. Give me 1 second. Sorry, my little guy was squawking. Please behave. We don't want another repeat of last video. Okay, so oldest blushes I have, a toss-up between, I don't know if any of you know Avon, but it was a brand like that people had little booklets for, and you'd order it, they'd order from their warehouse, and then you'd get it delivered by your little representative. I ordered this blush, I don't know when it was, but it's a really pretty neutral, pinky, nudish blush. And I've had this for so long. I don't remember when it came out. I didn't Google this. Oh, it says 2009. I don't know if that's when it came out. If that's the case, it's really old. Anyways, it's in my collection. It's one of the oldest blushes I have. The others are these MAC blushes here that I have. I have several MAC blushes. Like, they're all just floating around. I do have a pan of them that I'm trying to use, trying to see which ones work, which ones don't work. Some of them are cracked, some of them are broken, but these I've got to say are some of my oldest blushes, as well as this Smashbox one that I bought off someone doing a online buy my makeup. I don't know what you call that, but it still works. I still use it. Don't know how old it is. Actually, I have an idea, but again, I'm not going to say because I'm pretty much ashamed of it. But anyways, moving forward. I haven't broken up because of it, so. Most priciest blush. I'm going to have to say that is my NARS. I have a couple NARS blushes here. I did declutter one or two of them. But I have this one here. This one's Orgasm with the Hot Sand highlighter. I did hit pen on that, so that's cool. I also have this older one. Like, the packaging on this is disgusting. Like, ugh. NARS's packaging is cool. It has that like soft touch feel to it, but I just find it gets so dirty so quickly. The blush is this one here. It's Gaiety. It's not available anymore. I looked it up on Sephora's website, but it is a bright bubblegum pink, and I use this to add brightness to a blush where I just don't feel like it's giving me much. I just add a little bit to the apples-ish of my cheeks, and I love this blush. It still works. I really do enjoy it. Next question is everyday blush. I don't have an everyday blush. I use something different every day. I try to rotate through my extensive makeup collection of things that I have. I kind of go based on, my eye look. Can I get away with something brighter? Do I want cream? Do I want powder? Do I want to, what do I want to do today? So I don't have one that I use every single day. I pretty much, when I'm doing my makeup, I pick a different one every single day. Most colorful. I'm going to have to say that that is going to go to the Fenty Cream Blush in Drama Class. It is the most colorful blush that I have. It is a purple that turns more of a pinky color on my cheeks, and it blends out really nicely so it doesn't like look clown-like. So I'm going to say that is the most colorful blush. Like even that on my finger, I don't know if you can tell by the swatch, but it did turn more of a pink, not a purple. I don't use that when I'm doing a like a colorful eye. Like I wouldn't use it today because I have colors on my eyes. I use that more when I'm doing more of a neutral look, so I can, or like a different kind of lip, so I can get like the cheeks to pop, not the eyes to pop, depending on what I want to play up. So that's how I use that color. Next is Best Memory. And I'm going to say my MAC blushes have the best memory because back in the day when I discovered YouTube was a thing and I was getting into makeup, I did get a job at the MAC counter. And, you know, being someone who was dipping their toes into making YouTube videos back in the day, I remember watching videos of like old school, I was just going to say OG YouTubers, but I remember them like recommending things like MAC Warm Soul, and there was, what is this one? Melba? There's just a couple MAC blushes that like I felt like were constantly mentioned and raved about on YouTube, and it was the beginning of like the beauty days where I discovered that there was actually beauty videos on YouTube. So that kind of has a nice memory, was dipping my toes into the beauty field. Next question is blush worth the hype? Again, I'm going to use the same blush. I'm going to use the same type of blush, or what am I trying to say? The same brand? Yeah, the same brand as the last question, which is MAC blushes. I feel like they are worth the hype. I feel like you get quite a bit. They're not outrageously priced like NARS, but they're not cheap like as low prices like say a drugstore. But I think in Canada you can get a MAC blush unless the price has changed for around $23, $24. I mean, for some people that might still be extremely expensive, but like in the grand scheme of things, like if you went to Sephora and bought like say a Smashbox or a NARS or I don't know, maybe even Benefits blushes around that same price, but I feel like it's like more like, or like a Dior. Like Dior will be more than $24 for a blush. If they even sell those separately, I think they do. Anyways, so I feel like for the price, for what you get, and they do last all day, at least on my skin they do, and they last a long time, like if you're not using it every day. I mean, I have a blush that I've actually hit pan on that I'll get into later, one of the later questions, but I feel like for me, MAC blushes were worth the hype. And opposite of that, were not worth the hype, and I'm going to say NARS are not worth the hype. Those blushes are, I think, how much? I looked it up. They're around $41 or $42 or something like that. Like, that's insane. Like, I didn't really look at the grams, how much you get for one NARS blush versus... Okay, so you get quite a bit. Like, for a MAC blush, you get 3.5 grams. This is one of the mineralized blushes. And for this product here, you get 4.8 grams. So, I mean, it's a little bit more. But, I mean... unless it's like go-to blush that you're using every single day. Like I only hit pan on this one because it's A, smaller, and B, like I've had it for quite a long time, and you know I do enjoy the look of it. However, I wouldn't ever spend, unless I got a deal on the NARS blush, I wouldn't buy it outright with my money. Like I just don't think the colors, I don't know, it's not something I'm into. So for me, NARS are not worth the hype. Next question is favorite from favorite brand. Favorite blush from favorite brand. And one of my favorite brands I'd have to say that makes blushes that I've tried is Natasha Denona. I love her blushes. I use them, I mean I only have a couple of them, but I use, like, it's my go-to a lot of the times. So I'm going to use this Bloom palette as an example because I don't really have any of her other ones except for in the Diamond and Blush palette. I use that one today. But I use this cream blush like at least once a week. And I can't say that about many of my makeup products here because I rotate through a lot of them. I love the cream blush. I love this one too. I wear it on its own or I layer it over this one. I just love the formula. I love the way it blends out. It lasts all day on me. Natasha Denona is one of my favorite brands. And I mean, I would love to try more of her blushes, but I'm gonna have to say Natasha Denona is my favorite brand from my favorite blush from my favorite brand. If you see me looking down a lot, I'm looking at my paper that I have written all my thoughts down, otherwise this video would be half an hour long and I'd be rambling on and on and on. I don't know why I'm losing my breath. I need a drink. I'm just drinking some white wine mixed with some sparkling water. I didn't like the taste of the white wine by itself, so I added a little bit of sparkling water to it. Okay, flavored sparkling water, not just plain sparkling water. Next question is most used. Now, I had to go through my collection for this one because I actually had a couple that I've actually hit pan on. One's newer, one's older, but regardless, I guess you could say this would be someone's, like, considered someone's go-to blush. But I have Tarte's, they're both, well, this one's small, Tarte's Party, or Partey. That's the way it's worded there. So I've hit pan on that. I do love it. And I hit pan on this older one from MAC. It's called Rosy Outlook. This is beautiful. On the camera, it looks like it's a pale, washed out pink. But in person, it's a warm, soft bubblegum pink. It's slightly... Let me compare it to NARS Gaiety. Oh. I mean, this doesn't even look like a warm pink anymore. Like, this is like straight up hot pink. And this one is like a more... toned down, like peachy pink. Completely different feels. So this was my go-to for the longest time if I didn't know what pink blush I wanted or if I just needed something. This worked out very well. I haven't reached for it in a while, actually. A couple more, then again I was moving, so my blushes were everywhere. But that one and Tarte's Partey. This one is a slightly more, what would I call this? Mauvey neutral, like the pinky brown. It's a great blush. Okay, most affordable. I'm gonna have to throw that one to my Essence blush here. I picked it up on a whim at Shoppers when I was looking for like a more nudie blush. I wanted to experiment. It's pretty. I don't use it all that often. I find it doesn't really last on me, so it doesn't really get a lot of use. I don't reach for it. It doesn't like wow me. Maybe I'll actually use this tomorrow. I kind of want to use this again, see my thoughts on it, if it's changed. If my thoughts on it have changed. That would be the most affordable. Next is the most underrated. See, this is hard for me to say because for me an underrated blush would be something I really like that I don't see talked about. Then again, I don't really see like a lot of things. I haven't been watching a lot of YouTube lately, so I don't know if these are like not overrated, but I don't see very many people like repeatedly talking about and using the Fenty Cream blushes. I love these. I think these are fantastic. I can wear them on a natural day when I don't have much makeup on, when I'm doing a bare face, just no foundation, just putting these on. Rose Latte and Petal Poppin'. Actually, all of them. I've used all of these on bare skin. And as well, with a full face of makeup, like I've read reviews where they're not as pigmented. For me, they're very pigmented. Like, I don't know, maybe someone with darker skin tone wouldn't find that, or maybe the way they put it on. But I find they're fantastic. They don't move the product underneath, like my foundation and powder when I put them on. I have never had a problem with them. I love them, and I feel like more people should be talking about them. But then again, not everyone is into cream, although I feel like the beauty industry is leaning more towards the cream realm. Sorry if you can hear that. My oven's going off. My chicken is ready. But I'm going to try and finish this video. Hopefully I don't burn my food. It might go off again, so I may have to excuse myself and go and check on it. But I have 2 more questions left. I'll be right back. That's not going to stop. Okay, so 2 questions left. Most nostalgic. Now, I found this question to be really similar to best memory, because nostalgia and best memory to me are kind of like the same thing. Like, nostalgia brings back a memory in the past that's pleasant. But I'm going to use this as an excuse to mention something different. Like, I wanted to do 2 answers for the best memory, but after I saw that question, I decided to split it up. So I'm going to say Benefit Cora Lisa for the best memory. This blush has a beautiful scent to it, and it still smells after all this time. Sorry, Sebastian had to do his business. My mother also has this blush too, and I don't know, I get fond memories when I use this blush because, again, the smell brings back the beginning of, you know, YouTube, and when I discovered beauty videos, when I started creating videos of my own. And just the feeling I got when I started purchasing all this makeup that I saw other YouTubers raving about. So And to this day, I still like it. I use it and it gives a nice sheen. It's not a flat blush. It's not super shimmery. It just gives your cheeks a nice peachy sheen. It's beautiful. And the most disappointing, last question. For me, I'm going to have to say MAC's blush. I know because MAC's blushes went in a couple different categories here. But this one specifically was the most disappointing. Now, I bought this. Granted, I feel like MAC reformulated this blush because back when it was first talked about by several YouTubers that I watched, it looked beautiful on them. They might have had a darker skin tone, different undertone, who knows. But I didn't buy it then because every time I saw it, I was like, that looks like such a boring blush. Like, for me, I wanted my blush to be pink. I didn't want it to be more on, like, you know, the pinky nude side. It just didn't look awesome to me in the pan. I didn't want to pay, you know, $24, $25 for it plus tax for a blush that just didn't look exciting. So, fast forward several years later, I think Samantha, oh, I forget her name. I'll put the name on the screen. She's Canadian. She lives in Vancouver. She's blonde. Sam. I'm drawing a blank on her last name. But also Casey Holmes also raved about this. So I was like, you know what? I keep hearing them talk about it. I took the plunge and I bought it. And it didn't look on me like anything they were describing. Like, to me, I feel like Tarte's Party was what this is to those people. I don't know. Again, different skin tone, different preferences. I prefer more of a pinky blush, not more of like, you know, this turned up, it kind of turned more like of a more warm, more orange on me. I don't particularly prefer that with my blushes. Like, if I want to put a blush on, I want it to look like what's in the pan, not turn oxidize and turn orange. Which is what, excuse me, some of the MAC blushes do, now that they're getting older, anyways. Yeah, so MAC's Warm Soul was my disappointing product. And after that, that is the very last question. That is it for me talking about my blush collection. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. And you guys will see me in my next video. Bye!